Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah,
we got it. We got
New 52 book.
Somebody clip this one.
Welcome to Comics League Movie Night. I am Jared. I am here with Teladia Plays. What's up?
Hello, and hello.
We got the Heat Man as well. What is going on, JJheat?
This is where the fun begins.
And we're talking about Man of Tomorrow, the beginning of the DC. You know what's kind of funny, and by JJheat, I can hear TV in the background. But so, what's kind of funny about this is that this is the start of the TomorrowVerse, but technically continuation of the DC AMU, and my camera is foggy. So give me a second, ladies and gentlemen.
Technical difficulties, everyone.
What's up, Stage Tours? So let me see if I can make this work. But anyway, so JJheat, this was a you pick. How about you tell us why you picked this movie?
Sorry about that. That apparently I have family here. I'm
okay,
but I can't really help that.
Okay.
But yeah. As for this movie, it was pretty straight. It was a refresher from some of the edginess of the DCAMU. Again, this is my opinion. A real return to form, and simplicity aside, I feel like it was a good movie.
Yeah, I think we're really good because what's really interesting about this film is like, Teladia, this is very much, again, New 52 inspired. It's hilarious how much of DC's later adaptations are New 52.
Is it though? Is it though part of New 52? Because he's got the trunks, firstly.
Beyond that, beyond the visuals of the suit, it looks very much inspired by that.
No, but also it takes inspiration from another comic, which is in New 52.
Yeah, very much so. And so this movie, but basically the first time I saw this movie was actually at DC Fandom. The first one that they did the first one not as good because you actually had to show a few of the events. I share this. Yeah. So Randy brings up a funny point. So when Crisis Part 2 happened, DC put out some post to promote it. They labeled this one as Superboy, and the one that coincidentally was dating Wonder Woman as Superman.
It's not.
To me, this movie was rather average. Some scenes were dull, but the rest I didn't mind. Granted, I should probably watch it again. Yeah, you should. It's actually really good. So this movie digs into the aloneness that Clark feels being like an alien and such. It really delves into the alien. Like when you see John Jones's alien form for the first time and the music that plays in the background, it's like an alien invasion horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
I really think I did the thing about this film, what is like the alienness about this film, right? The sci-fi-ness.
Yeah, this was very much a sci-fi Superman film.
Yeah, it's pretty much. It reminds me a little bit of Man of Steel, a little bit, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, kind of. And you know what? I really enjoy. Again, this is. Wait, Teladia, are you saying Zack Snyder's the blueprint?
Whenever I say Man of Steel stuff or something, obviously Zack Snyder is the blueprint for anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this was again a pretty solid Superman film, and really, what I can really check out the reason why I really dig this is because first off, he doesn't end up with Lois at the end. Isn't that at the end of this movie? He does end up with her later, but at least at the end of this movie, it's like, okay, at the very least, for this movie, I have an escape from lameness. So there you go. But
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, Lois is lame in this sort of movie, right?
Yeah, she is very annoying in this movie, even more so than she regularly is. And I'm like, can you guys just stop, Lois? Just stop.
Okay, I gotta ask you this question: do you prefer the New 52 version of Lois or this version of Lois from the Tomorrow?
You mean the AMU version of Lois?
Yeah, or the TomorrowVerse version.
Honestly, that's a good question because they both royally suck. I would have to say, Right, JJheat says, oh, he's also in the chat. The theme is there, but DCAMU version of Lois was at least tolerable. You watch your tongue, sir. Denigrate Wonder Woman to prop up Lois. She's not tolerable. She's not tolerable. When this was all it took, I'm Superman, for her to connect that her boyfriend was Superman, she's an idiot.
No,
That's
but
the thing.
but you're not answering my question. Which one's worse? The Tomorrowverse.
I would have to say TomorrowVerse one because, well, actually no, AMU one because not only is she annoying, but she's kind of dumb.
Okay.
Or at least that's the way she's written in the reign of the Superman movie, and I'm like, what? Come on, you didn't see this coming? Yeah.
You at least gotta throw something to throw away.
Yeah, throwaway line. Yeah, I understand that, JJheat, but off-screen doesn't work as good storytelling. For a plot point, and before you say anything, yes, I'm never going to let that go. So, the other thing that I really like about this movie, yes, the animation style is a little rough, but I do like the designs for the different characters, like how they basically turned Parasite into a kaiju / Godzilla ripoff.
That was cool. In my opinion, that was cool.
Yeah. And I kind of dug how Lobo dies and that he just straps himself to a bunch of grenades and then just jumps onto Parasite and blows up. That's so Lobo. Sage Torres says, never have I seen someone as passionate as Jared.
Jared has always been passionate about the hatred for Lois Lane.
Yeah, it's almost like I have an entire playlist on my channel. I should make that.
By the way, wait until I tell you something that happened last night that you'll be laughing about what I did on
your channel, on your show,
no.
or somewhere else.
On Max's channel.
Oh God, that's gonna be fun. But let me ask you this. I'll start with Teladia.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite character in this movie?
If I had to say, Martian Manhunter.
Ooh, yes, he was really cool in this, and I like. So you know what's kind of cool when they have him show up at the Kent farm dressed as a government agent. That's actually an homage to John Jones because when he first showed up, he was like a police cop, and JJheat says because Lobo. Yeah, that's true. That Lobo is always steals the show, and he will show up later if we actually cover the other movies, which we may if you guys want us to do that. And so the other characters that I really did dig about this is Zachary Quinto as Lex Luthor, because I felt like this was not as much as he was the a-hole Lex Luthor. Yeah, so it kind of fit. This seems, by the way, very much like something that's basing the new DCU off of, in that it's okay, they're significantly younger versions. Lex Luthor's almost like the new 52, except the suit in this is way better. It's kind of interesting.
Is it though?
Compared to the James Gunn suit, this is better.
I don't think so.
You prefer the James Gunn suit to this? They both have the trunks. You can't say that.
I like the new 52-esque vibes with the James Gunn suit over this.
All right, JJheat. Which suit is better, this or the James Gunn suit?
Put in the chat.
Put it in the chat, whatever you want to do. So in terms of like, so we'll go over. Let's go over the plot. So essentially, what this is. So again, we just had Apocalypse War, but DC is announcing that they're still like doing more of the universe. So now the interesting thing about this is that to this point, we didn't know if this was a continuation of the AMU yet. We get confirmation of that on Crisis, I think. Crisis Part, I want to say, okay, 2. It was 2. Oh, yeah. So we get confirmation in Crisis that this is legit just continuing the story of that, which is actually really cool. I didn't see that coming. But so as far as I knew, this was just a rebooted continuity. And so, which it's interesting the way they went with this, because if you notice, when you compare this to the DC AMU, this one was more like Teladia said in the beginning, more sci-fi-esque. If you look at like Metropolis itself, is more of like the city of tomorrow that it's supposed to be, kind of like it was in the infinitely more crappy My Adventures with Superman cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
So that is actually very, very interesting how you can are they that. So yeah, any Superman suit is better than the gun suit. Yes, exactly, Sage. Exactly. So continuing with the film, so it's definitely felt like a callback to Estas. Yeah, a little bit like that, exactly. And so what we have here is that Lobo attacks, and we have a battle with him against Superman. Now, in the aftermath, collateral damage, Rudy Jones gets exposed to like this grenade that Lobo uses that's supposed to like absorb powers, and it basically turns him into an energy vampire, aka Parasite. And then what I liked about this film specifically is that the more energy he absorbs, the more monstrous he gets. Like particularly when he absorbs Superman, he starts to look exactly like Godzilla. And he can like use a lot of the same powers, like he turns invisible, he can go intangible. And then it is kind of cool. I just love the scene when he shows up and he is like he is Godzilla emerging out of the water. I really felt they did a great job with that.
Yeah, so did I.
Yes, the effects were very spot on. Sorry about that, guys. Just some technical difficulties in the background. But yeah, all that aside, the effects were great. The animation, albeit simplistic, the art design, although the art design was simplistic, the animation was relatively smooth, at least in my opinion. Luthor could have done a lot more, be more menacing. But for a standalone feature, it's serviceable.
Yeah, exactly. Now, yes, it is. To me, it's kind of like a downgrade from the DC AMU in terms of animation. And Sam brought this up when we had him on our show, where it's because like WB just stopped emphasizing animation, which is kind of stupid when you think about it, because DC like known for animation?
That's your bread and butter right there.
Yeah, that's your bread and butter. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't de-emphasize. That's like the one place where you destroy Marvel. Partly because Marvel never really went full bore into animation beyond like those animated series that after Earth's Mightiest Heroes got progressively worse. You also had those animated movies, which a lot of them were good. Some of them were just god-awful. But Randy says, I find it funny how they did everything they could in there to a power to break up Superman and Wonder Woman, the DCU, just for them to end up together on Earth too. Yeah, that is really funny, isn't that? Yeah, go ahead, JJheat.
Before we move forward, again, I'm just speaking from a commercial standpoint. It was synergy for what was going on with the comics leading up to He Shall Not Be Named at the time. So a lot of that was for synergy purposes.
True that. And thank you for preserving my ears from He Who Must Not Be Named, There's so many people on that list. But
What, you
I will say
Voldemort?
again, that was really funny when Crisis Part 2 came out and Teladia DMs me. He's like, Super Wonders in Crisis Part 2. And then I DM Britt and she goes, Jared, don't play with me. Because we were both like, okay, what's the catch? And then we're like, oh, okay, they were together till the end. I'll take it. But so with this one, yeah, so as I was saying before, you could kind of tell the animation is a little stiff. And I get that they want it to be like different and stuff. So I kind of dug the art style. It's just I wish the animation was like a little smoother, but it wasn't like too like it didn't look like a Flash game, in other words.
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel like a PlayStation PS2 cutscene. But that aside, there's a theme here with this movie. Well, really two. One, about the context of absolute power corrupting absolutely and how we can be above that. It's very inspirational, I want to say.
Yeah, very much so.
But in context of the wider Tomorrowverse as a whole, and let me know you guys want a video on this, these movies felt like a series of transition films to meet quota before James Gunn came into play. This really does.
Actually, so some information on that. What actually happened is that they did plan a lot more. It's just, yeah, when James Gunn came in, they decided to cut it off. So they originally planned a lot more. Like Wonder Woman was supposed to get an entire series of movies in the Earth 2 universe that would have dealt with like her and the JSA.
Okay.
At least according to Britt, that's what she says. But but yeah, so yeah, it was kind of like a little bit, but I did like how this was like this felt different than the previous universe. It didn't necessarily feel like they were trying to like copy the old universe or even the DCAU, which I feel like a lot of animation tends to fall into because, and I get it, those animated series and movies are like so iconic, so you can't help but like want to like put a little bit of that in there. But if you're just making a new universe, you have to make a new universe.
Somebody tell that to James Gunn, but we're not going to have that conversation.
No,
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
not going to have that conversation, no.
Mm-hmm.
Because, here's what I think, right? When it comes down to the Tomorrowverse, especially when it comes down to the first, it had to knock it out the park, right? They had to get this one right, right? In order to win back fans' trust.
Yeah, exactly.
But the only problem I had with this film was the animation style. They could have gone the animation style to like the Creature Commando style, right?
Right.
That would have worked for a Tomorrowverse, or Tomorrowverse series type of thing, right? Or Tomorrowverse saga, right?
Yeah.
I think that would have worked in terms of. That's my nitpick about this film, right?
Okay, fair enough. That works.
I mean, like if you compare them both, like the Creature Commandos to this, I think the Creature Commandos the animation style knocks this one out the park.
Well, you know why? Because they're finally putting more emphasis on the animation because James Gunn actually legit. And again, I'm going to give credit to James Gunn. He legit like emphasized animation as like part of their plan where they're going to tie in animation and live action and somehow gaming. But the point is like he clearly wanted to that's why the animation looks significantly smoother in like Creature Commandos because remember, Teladia, we can look at this retroactively and say, yeah, the animation in Creature Commandos is better. But remember, at the time, like this movie, I think, came out before there was a DC Studios at all. So really, it's like they made do with what they had.
But mind you, they already had the animation style with the Scooby-Doo films.
No, but what I mean in terms of the animation quality, I don't necessarily mean art style.
True, but I mean in the style because it's based off the Scooby-Doo and recent Scooby-Doo stuff. Because that's the same style. I noticed that. So
they probably had the same studio do it.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder. I think James Gunn started to pay attention to animation, and I think and when I take a look at this, I think that WB dropped the ball when it came down to the animation, but the story was still quality, right? The story is still quality, and it's up to. I don't know if it's top 5 Superman films.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put it up there in the top 5 Superman animated films for me,
Yeah.
but it's in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, it's good. It's just then it starts to repeat a lot of the same tropes as Superman movies, and that's where I'm like, okay, guys. But I did like how this basically became a team up movie between him and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I would have liked if he like emphasized more of like the well-known characters, but then again, Guns in Charge, that's what he likes. So, all right. But going back to actually, Teladia brings up a good question. What are your guys' favorite like top 5, let's say, Superman animated movies? I'll start with JJheat.
Okay, Brainiac Unbound, Death of Superman, well, Death and Reign if I'm counting them together. Excuse me. Apocalypse War, because Superman played a large role in that. And where am I? At 3 or am I at 4?
I think I got 3.
Okay.
You got 3.
Okay, World's Finest. I know it's technically a crossover crossover 2-parter, but it ended up being combined into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And number 5, no, that's a TV show. I want to say the Christopher Reeves movies, just as a the Superman 78.
Okay.
They had animated movies for that?
Wait, that was live action. Excuse me, but you know what I mean.
Animated movies. I'm like, I would have liked if they had an animated continuation of that.
But okay, what's my replacement number 5? There's not that many animated Superman movies. We'll just put Justice League War as a placeholder because Superman does play a key role in that.
So for me, and then I'll go to Teladia. I would say, and Teladia, Tavia, we're not talking about War World. We're not, okay?
I think they're trying to say Justice League War. Now, War Saga is a separate film. Oh, okay. I know which one they're talking about. The Trinity movie in the TomorrowVerse. That's what they're referring to.
Yeah, we're not talking about that movie. So I don't know why you're bringing that up. But in terms of animated Superman movies for me, it's Unbound. Actually, let me pull up a list of Superman animated movies so I can list it. Definitely not Doomsday, that's for sure.
God awful.
We have to cover that movie eventually to rant about it.
I think we already did cover it at one point.
No, we covered Death of Superman because I remember you wanted to cover it for your pick, but because we were covering Death of Superman, we're like, why are we gonna do 2 Doomsday movies?
Oh yeah.
All right. So if I can pick, okay, so team up movies count. I'm gonna go with Unbound. I'm gonna go with definitely not Death of for number 2. Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Superman plays a significant role in that. I would have to say Crisis on Infinite Earths. I'm going to count them as one movie, all 3, because again, Superman is very much the heart of that movie. Besides Wonder Woman. Okay, so that's 3, I believe, right?
Yes, you're at 3.
Okay, 3. For 4th animated movie, probably. Okay.
That's a crossover.
Rain.
Yeah, that's a crossover. I was replying to Randy's comment.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of a crossover movie, but I see where you're going with.
Okay, in that case, Superman, Batman, Apocalypse.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm currently shooting a funeral for the DC Browns.
Please can you not?
Again, I'm gonna bring this up one more time. Please do not advertise please do not advertise anyone else's streams or your own stream in here. Please do not. I'm not going to tell you guys again.
That's the second time. Anyway.
Yeah, so anyway. It's...
What I was going to say is, Jared, what I was going to say, can I make my picks for top 5 Superman?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think Superman Unbound is top up there.
Yep.
I think Superman the Brainiac movie that in 2006. No, it's the DeCamu one.
There wasn't a DeCamu Brainiac movie.
No, DeCamu. I mean DCAU one. There was a DCAU.
Okay, film. I know what you're talking about. That actually is not in the DCAU, but I know the movie you're talking about.
It's technically a standalone.
Kirby Verby has a good one. Superman versus the Elite. That counts.
That counts, and that's my third one on the list, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
That works. That is very much a Superman movie.
Yeah, fourth is Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, of course. And then fifth, I would have to put up there is the Throne of Atlantis film.
Because
Superman plays like you said, Superman plays a big part.
Tevi says All-Star Superman, but that's the obvious one, so I didn't really want to include.
Yeah, I don't pick obvious ones. I didn't want to pick obvious ones. So.
Same.
Yeah, and Kevin says any movie that was Superman and Batman as world's finest for me, BVS does not count. And hey guys, hey, what's up, Cameron? How you doing?
Good to see you, Cameron. But again, that's technically that was a big crossover two-parter for the DCAU. It got re-released as a movie after the fact. But we can count it if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. So then, all right, yeah, 100%. We'll count that. But so yeah, I mean, see, the thing is like that. I'm Barry Sergeant Garatina became a member. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So now, I had I'll shoot channels in my old phone broke. Oh, it's all good, dude. I'm glad you're here. So sorry for my blunder. It's okay, dude. Don't worry about it. Justice Society World War II. I thought was a good Superman movie. That's a Wonder Woman movie. I'm not going to count that as a super. It's a good movie, so I'm not going to hold that against you. It's good. Because Superman does not play that big of a role in that movie. That's the thing.
No.
I mean, he plays a role in the other ones. So, yeah, I could kind of give you that. So, it was okay. Yeah. So, continuing on. So, let's see. What else do we have here? So, I also find it's really fun. So DC needs a new Wonder Woman animated film. Okay, here's the problem with that, Nemo. I agree with you, by the way. Just want to say I agree with you. Problem is, and Sam said this when he showed up on the show. Okay. DC does not think of Wonder Woman as that much of a priority. And you think about it, her past animated movies flopped hard. So they don't see the monetary value in investing so heavily in Wonder Woman, which is stupid because she is like their premier female superhero. You would think they would at least put talent behind her, but they can't. And all they're left with is Tom King.
But here's the problem. Sorry, go on.
You got to follow the numbers. Admittedly, this is a business. You got to follow the numbers. That's why I said this in detail when I collabed on Super Wonder a couple months ago, that from a commercial standpoint, Wonder Woman is arguably the lowest of the three in terms of sales.
Hey, Brown, how you doing, Rude?
Again, in case Britt shows up in the chat and gets mad at me, arguably the lowest of the three. Arguably, her and Superman are neck and neck in terms of numbers.
No, but can I make a comment?
Go ahead, Teladia. That's all I want to say. Go ahead.
I was going to say that the reason why Wonder Woman is not going to get another animated film is basically because after the Wonder Woman 84 film, they left the character to the side pretty much because of how much poor sales it was, and it basically damaged the brand slightly for a few years. Now they're bringing it back into the fold. But not in animation, not in the comic side, but in video games. But I'm just thinking now is that if I was DC, they need to start bringing animation back into the fold.
It seems like they are kind of doing that.
No, but what I mean is they should have made the Paradise Lost an animated series, not live action.
They might. Honestly, I could see them doing that. Because we already know that the Authority is also being reworked into an animated film, so that's not really that much of a
far-fetched.
Yeah, far-fetched idea there. Barry Brown says, I don't think that the animation was that bad. Okay. It's just story and Tomorrowverse convoluted and all over the place. I don't think that the Crisis film is all that interesting to begin with. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Rewatch that movie as one movie instead of 3 parts. There's no way that should have been 3 parts. Absolutely not.
No,
2 at most. 2 at most. But it's yeah, go ahead.
The structure of the trilogy is terrible. I think we can all agree on that. But even with that being said, Crisis only works when you actually build up to it. It's one of those stories you just can't okay, we got a little boom, 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 and then bam, straight to Crisis. No, you actually have to set a character dynamics, emotional investment. It doesn't work as a standalone adaptation. It just doesn't work.
By Randy, funny you should mention that about Steve Trevor. In the Tomorrowverse, Steve Trevor just dies in his first movie, and then they leave him alone. Yay! See how much better the content gets when you ignore it? Ignore Steve Trevor?
Can I make
go ahead, Teladia. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I also think, as well, when it comes down to the Crisis movies, those movies should repackage them as one movie, like they did with Reign of Superman and Death of Superman. They've repackaged that as one movie.
Did they, or did they still have them as 2 separate movies, but as one thing?
A 2-pack. I think they repackaged it as a 2-pack.
No, but
and I remember when Reign was coming out, they did an event, I think, at my theater where you could watch Death of, and then go straight into Reign in the movie theater.
From what I've seen, is that there was a repackage of Death and Return in one, all in one. So
yeah. So probably what that is that since they're basically one story, DC probably just said it's probably one of those things where they come in one box, but when you open it up, it has 2 discs.
Yeah,
that's probably what happened. From a good story point of view, the comic story isn't that interesting in terms of Crisis. My point is that you need to make it better than the comics. If you're making a movie about it, and more twist surprises. Yeah, exactly. I do agree with you on that one. Yeah, which I saw both in theaters. Yeah, which is fun. Yes, they did do that I think just for Death and Reign. I think
only Death and Reign.
I wish they would do that more. That would be really fun for some little events. I know it costs money, but let me put it this way: if DC Studios gets to the point where the DC brand is strongest, and by the way, Brit's here. Diana wait, hang on. She might be the lowest selling of the Trinity of Steel, but she's still more popular than Blue Beetle or Kite Man. Yes, exactly.
I mean, she's right. I'm not refuting
here.
He's back.
Yep.
I mean, it's true. I mean,
she's not wrong. She's definitely not wrong there. Well, as we know, Brit is never wrong. So there you go. She's the queen of comics league. Heck, Harley Quinn animated movies in theaters too. Yeah, they did do that too. I remember they did do that. They also showed The Killing Joke in theaters. That must have been traumatic for people to see that thing. Like I said, DC has become too reliant on Crisis. Yeah, there's a reason why Marvel only does Spider-Verse. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Crisis was one of DC's biggest stories, so I could see why they want to keep doing it. But the problem is doing it as an excuse. When Hamada, I know I have to play the clip, was fired, he says, "Oh, we were setting up Crisis for the live action movies," and I'm like, "No, you weren't, dude. No, you weren't. You're just trying to save your job. Where were you setting up Crisis?" That's 30 minutes we're never getting back. That's good, JJheat. But it's I'm like, where were you setting up Crisis? Because you have to set up the anti-monitor for a long time in order to properly do Crisis.
Like I said, you can't do Crisis as a standalone adaptation. It's a fool's errand.
It's like doing Infinity War and Endgame as these are only one self-contained movies. The DC AMU could have made a lot of money. Yeah, could have. Brown Story says also, why is DC so afraid to make a comics movie horror genre? At this point, every kind of genre should be on the table. That's what Gunn is apparently going to do with this. And honestly, that's an advantage to having this as an already established universe, not necessarily going in one direction, but also the way Star Wars does it because you can explore all these different genres. Because according to Gunn, like Swamp Thing is going to be straight up horror. So I'm like, oh, okay, that works. Kirby says, I've heard the Killing Joke was the reason why DC got cold feet while carrying animated movies to theaters. Tim! Why did you screw that up? But anyway, so what else do you guys think about? You know what? How do you rate Superman Man of Tomorrow out of 10?
I give it a 6.
I give it a 7.
I give it a 7 as well. It's pretty good. Not the best, but it's pretty good. So now we'll go to Q&A. So let's do that. Crisis was set up with the Flash and more Explorer. Yeah, but here's the thing, Britt. We didn't know that at the time. He was saying that. The way Hamada phrased it when he said that statement was it made it sound like he was setting it up since Snyder left. And I'm like, where were you doing that? Just having Batfleck stuck in the multiverse does not set up Crisis.
No, it does not.
Well, what are your opinions on Creature Commandos so far? All right, Jay, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, check the joke in the private chat. But with that being said, my opinion on Creature Commandos, it's a premiere. You're trying to sell it, but this.
Well done, sir.
Sorry, I'm trying to hold it in. It was a good joke. I'm going to keep these in the private chat due to Jared's branding out of respect. But okay, that aside. I give it the first episode is solid. There are some aspects of episode 2 where we can't comment on YouTube due to policy. So if I had to average the premiere, I'd give it a solid 7.5, all things considered.
Yep, me too. 8 out of 10 for me because it was a good Superman movie. Yep, there you go. That works. So now we'll do Q&A. You can ask us anything you want about DC animation, whatever you guys are interested in terms of topics. Let me know. What have you guys got for questions or any discussions about DC Comics in general you can ask?
Jared, I got a question. Question, right? Considering you picked up every Snyder book cover, when will you stop picking up Snyder book covers?
When they stop making them.
Because
it's an impulse buy. I will purchase covers for Snyder stuff.
Doesn't it hurt your wallet?
I think the figurines get to him more than the comics do.
My Hot Toys hurt the wallet a lot more, bro.
Called it.
Yeah, episode 2 was weird, was wild. I'll continue to watch the show, but now that threw me off. Yeah, exactly. Am I the only one of this movie convinced me that Parallax could work as a main bad guy? Never thought that would be possible. That's the Green Lantern one later, but maybe.
If the setup is good, do not do what Ryan Reynolds did in 2011. If the setup is good, you could pull off Parallax as a main villain. But again, the setup has to be there. You can't rush it.
Yeah, and then Brown Destroyer says DC should make a Superman American Alien anime movie. What they could
but that's pretty much what this was, American Alien.
Oh,
Parasite. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still
CGI
works.
Yeah.
Not for American Alien. I would make it an anthology movie where each part is each of those like issues, because those are told very much almost self-contained like. So you could get away with doing what, and you could emulate the different art styles by having each part be done by a different studio. It doesn't have to be that long. Yeah,
so like Batman Gotham Knights, basically, where it was different.
Essentially, yes, exactly. Superman should have his own Batman Gotham Knights. I meant Parasite. I knew I was saying it wrong. Yeah, exactly. So there's plenty that DC should do. The problem is, by the way, and Sam brought this up the last time he was on the show. He goes, "Yeah, fans ask me all the time, hey, we should have this. We would love a Question animated movie, but it doesn't do well." That's the thing. We're here. We all make sense. Yeah, it's all good.
Jerry, did you see the new Hot Toys for Superman? Prime One Studio or something? They made a Hot Toy.
No, a statue. You mean?
Yeah, something like that. I saw online.
Was it Cavill Soups?
It was Cavill Superman. Yeah.
I'm not. I see. Hot Toys is the extent of where I go with that, because Prime One is going to be very expensive. Question: if you're able to keep the Tomorrowverse going, which movies would you have done? Wonder Woman for sure. Superman, Wonder Woman, In Earth 2, and Redeem the Green Lantern movie. All right, JHeat, go.
Redeem the Green Lantern movie. Definitely a Batman and Robin instead of just having Bruce send Grayson off to an orphanage just for relative convenience. But again, crisis, and they had to wrap everything up. So a Batman and Robin film, definitely. Green. Okay, I already said Green Lantern. Maybe a proper Flash film instead of an ensemble with Justice Society World War II. And if I had one more, let's just say an Aquaman movie, just as a standalone.
That could have been fun. But by the way, so you know what's kind of interesting is if you look at who played Aquaman, the TomorrowVerse. Hang on, JSA World War II. So Aquaman was played by. Hang on, I'm pulling it up. 1 second. Dun, 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 dun. So, how many of you guys have seen the show Spartacus?
I have.
Spartacus.
Yeah, I recognized him.
Liam McIntyre, who also voiced Captain Boomerang in the DC AMU.
He did.
So that was actually really cool. Animated Constantine, following the events of Crisis, like how House of Mystery did it, but better. Yeah, you could do that. I would definitely be down for that.
You bloody white mate.
Nightwing animated movie. Yeah, you could do that.
No, but you couldn't in the TomorrowVerse.
No, it would have to be an Elseworld or standalone.
Yeah. You can still go with that. If American Alien got made, a lot of Deathstroke fans go, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Has John Kent made any money for DC and WB? It's made money, but not the amount they need.
No.
Yeah, the only way John Kent made money it was in Superman and Lois. And I'll leave it at that, okay? Because I don't want to go into what.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me put it this way. His animated movie did not perform up to standards. And
wait, John Kent got Battle of the Super Sons. Never mind.
Had that movie done well enough, I'm convinced they would have de-aged him.
I think the highest it grossed was like 50,000 Hold on, let me look this up.
But by the way, it wasn't a bad movie. After all, it was written by Jeremy Adams, the current writer of Green Lantern and new writer of Aquaman, which, by the way, both are going to be awesome because Jeremy Adams is a kick-ass writer. Cameron says, I actually like the idea of Batman's assisting to an orphanage. Oh, Dick Grayson. Not going to lie, I thought they were going to do their own Court of Owls with Dick Grayson as Talon going against Bruce. Okay, you know what? That could have actually been pretty good if they did that instead of like, not instead of, if they had done that for like the movies later, because they did on a different Earth. Bruce had a Nightwing.
Ooh.
Spectre. That is great. Now, again, assuming these projects would do well. Question: any opinion on DC focusing on solo DC animated movies far from being connected to animated universes? I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't know what the opinion is. Do it.
Yeah, especially if it'll help keep the lights on. But to those curious, Battle of the Super Sons grossed a total of 1.3 million in DVD and Blu-ray sales.
Okay. And by the way, when is Superman trailer coming out?
I got the answer.
James Gunn says soon, but go ahead, Teladia.
I already made a prediction. It's gonna come out in front of a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that movie could be Mufasa, the Lion King.
But didn't Gunn refute that?
No, he didn't refute the Mufasa thing.
Ooh, interesting. You could actually do that. Kirby says, and I think, okay, Spectre should be mature. Yes, exactly. Britt says, Battle of the Super Sons' poor performance shows how John and the Super Sons were just within a niche. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the book slowly bombed, and it wasn't because it'd be one thing if the book dropped, but then maintained it's a steady thing. But no, it was legit. When you look at the sales chart,
I mean, the highest it grossed was 45,000, maybe 50.
Actually, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be fair. The highest the series ever grossed was like 90,000 for the first issue.
Okay. I
want to be fair. I'm counting the entire thing, including all the reboot books they did.
Okay, that's fair.
I want to be fair on that because it did, but they drop and it just kept dropping. But anyway, let's see. Cameron says, actually, what about a Green Arrow and Black Canary movie?
They
Yes.
they could have done that in a
Wasted
Tomorrowverse.
opportunity. Wasted
They
opportunity.
could have definitely done that because both Black Canaries exist, and Green Arrow is important in multiple DC animated movies.
Yeah, but after the Arrowverse pretty much set Oliver back a decade by making him a Batman ripoff. I can understand why.
Because he is Barrow Man, Barrow. He's Batman Arrow. Kids don't read DC comics, so stop making DC the MCU gun. Super Sons failures an eye opener. And let me put it this way: unless the live action movies fail, that's when they're gonna actually like take notice. Because again, the thing about it is there is that DC doesn't necessarily take like notice until the live action stuff starts failing or perceived to fail, as in the case of the Snyderverse, which we all know that didn't fail. Anyway, the Flash should get his own solo movie. No Flashpoint, no nothing. Yes, exactly. Give Flash a movie because he deserves it. Stop with Flash. See, that's another problem. DC thinks the only Flash story they have is Flashpoint. In fact, the original script for Flash, like back when DC was like, back before the DCEU imploded, was going to be Flash and Cyborg team up to battle the Rogues. That's it. That's all it was. That is literally all it was. And I'm like, and you didn't do that. That's a question. What about another Aquaman anime movie that's not connected to the Justice League? Yeah, we just said about an Aquaman anime movie could be good. That's what we just said. But okay.
Jared, a Flash film, animated film, could be about the Flash War, the 1 minute Flash War.
It could be about that too. There's any number of great stories that you could do with the Flash. TomorrowVerse had a lot of potential, kneecapped by a limited budget. Yeah, exactly.
That is true.
Exactly. There was so much there that you could have done, particularly when you brought in the multiverse. Here's the thing: a Flash movie would be hard because unless the Reverse Flash is the main bad guy, no one's coming. I disagree on that. I think if you do the Rogues, like Flash fighting a team of villains, I think people would show up for that.
Yeah, but you also got to take the Arrowverse factor into the equation. Like how, because unless the CW show is largely made based off ensembles and drama, but realistically, if you have super speed, you could blitz just about anyone if you're experienced enough.
It's true. And a Flash movie could follow Wally West, so a less experienced Flash. See, you could do that. That could work.
It would be a lot easier to do a live action movie based off Wally West Flash rather than Barry.
Yeah, another problem, DC has become too reliant on Batman. Yes. Tavia says, question, what was the DC AMU budget versus the Tomorrowverse? I don't know because that's on a movie-by-movie basis.
Yeah.
So it's not like they give them like a large, like a sum of cash and says, make a movie. Kirby says Captain Boomerang is kind of mainstream from Suicide Squad 2016. Yeah, you could have Flash versus Captain Boomerang and make it so like Boomerang makes it so you can't like fight him with super speed. There's any number of ways you could do a good Flash movie. But anyway, I think that's a good place to leave it because I got to get prep for the Superman stream. So yeah, in about an hour, Nick and I will be going live to cover the Superman animated series episode called Double Dose, where it's Parasite and Livewire teaming up.
Oh, I remember this episode.
Yeah, and
same. For
this Wednesday's video is so Monday's Super Wonder Legacy episode is going to go live, and it's going to be discussing adapting A Day in the Life of Diana and why using Lois for that was a bad idea. And in terms of Wednesday's video, we're going to be discussing I'm going to be discussing Superman and how I would write the character. And then on Friday, for Under Two Capes, we're not exactly sure what we're going to do, but next week's movie night is going to be Sky High. So, Teladia, where can we find you and what have you got coming up on your channel?
Okay, so you guys can check me out on YouTube at Teladia Plays. What I've got coming up is on Tuesday, I'll be doing a Marvel Rivals stream as I'm part of the content creator program. So I'll be doing Punisher playing Main as Punisher. On Wednesday, hopefully Wednesday, we can do Snyder Fans Read Comics, and we'll be covering Absolute Superman #2. On Thursday, I'll be reacting to the Game Awards, and then I'll also be doing Creature Commandos recordings and get that uploaded Friday. And then over the weekend, I'll be on other people's channels like MME and all these other different things too. So, and I got a collab with JJheat coming up too. So
Oh, and also one more thing. On Thursday is the members only panel where you could be on the panel with us and talk about comics and stuff. So, JJheat, how about you?
As for me, stay tuned for more Mass Effect and Soul Tour on the channel. Also coming up, I'll have these two gentlemen. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you for correcting that for me. But stay tuned for tomorrow night at 6 p.m. where myself, Jared, and Teladia will be collabing for the DeCamu retrospective. So, hey, you're going to get a 2-in-1 this week.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for that one. And so stay heroic. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane, and Steve Trevor is Steve Never. They belong with General Zod. Zois and Max about for life. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.